Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Joey with Don't Call My Wax Junk. Welcoming you to another video here where I want to highlight a card that I've recently acquired and added to my Braves PC. The hint is on the screen now who we're talking about, but yes, we're highlighting Bobby Cox. And this is the card that I've recently acquired. This is his 1969 Topps. And it's his only issue, I guess player issue or player card from his career. His career was very short. Actually signed originally with his home state, Los Angeles Dodgers. Could never make their big league club, so the Braves acquired him. He never made their big league club either. He was traded in '67 to the New York Yankees. And he was basically kind of in a string of stopgap third basemen for the Yankees. Kind of started with Clete Boyer, and Bobby was up next, and it ended with Greg Nettles, who was the third baseman for quite a few years during the '70s for the Yankees. Bobby Cox's playing career was not much to talk about. He was right around a .220 hitter, hit about 14 career home runs. And he even by his own words was not a great player. But they saw something in Bobby that caused them to say, hey, this guy might be a good coach. And so he spent several years there in the '70s working for the New York Yankees farm system as a coach and a manager. Actually managed Ron Guidry when Ron was in the minor leagues. But nevertheless, eventually made his way back to the Braves in the late '70s when they were abysmal. Just horrendous. As a matter of fact, they were so bad in 1977, they finished worse than the Seattle Mariners, who were an expansion team that year. And that prompted Ted Turner to make a move and hire Bobby as the new manager for the '78 season. And Bobby did what Bobby does. He slowly brought those teams up. He had the 1980 Braves in fourth place and finished over 500 for the first time since 1974. And unfortunately, the '81 strike kind of signaled the end for Bobby in Atlanta, at least for the time being. Ted Turner fired him, and this was a famous story that at the press conference, somebody asked Ted, well, what kind of manager are you looking for '82? And Ted said, I'd like to find somebody a lot like Bobby Cox. But the problem is he had just fired Bobby. Bobby had worked closely with Ted and with general manager to build that the Atlanta Braves team up, build the farm system up. And one of the moves that Bobby made that was, I guess, a pretty famous story is he took a young catcher / first baseman who had the yips a little bit behind the plate. If you've ever seen the movie Major League 2, you know what I'm talking about. The catcher could not make the throw to second base, could barely make the throw back to the pitcher. And that was Dale Murphy, who actually came up as a catcher in the Braves organization. And Murph got the yips from behind the plate, couldn't make the throw to second, and was real close to being cut. And Bobby recognized the talent that Dale had and moved him to center field, which was a very famous move. Murphy went on to win, of course, back-to-back MVPs in '82 and '83, but I got a little ahead of myself because fact is Bobby put in all the hard work to make the Braves relevant again, only to be fired in '81 and have Joe Torre hired in '82 to come in and take the Braves to their first playoff series since 1969. And again, like I said, Dale Murphy back-to-back MVPs in '82 and '83. But Bobby didn't he wasn't looking for a job long, as the Toronto Blue Jays hired him. And I mean, Bobby did in Toronto what he did with Atlanta and had them play in playoff baseball uh, by the end of his tenure there. In '85 was actually the American League Manager of the Year, and had the Blue Jays in the playoffs. Went back to Atlanta in '86 as the general manager, where he found players like John Smoltz and Tom Glavine and Dave Justice, and hired a young shortstop slash pitcher from the great state of Florida as his #1 overall pick in 1990, a little player named Chipper Jones. Those were some of the moves Bobby made as general manager. And of course, in '91, left the front office when the Braves hired John Schuerholz, and he returned to the dugout. The rest is history. 14 consecutive division titles, 1 World Series title out of, let's see, 91, 92, 95, 96, 99. Was that 5 World Series in the 90s? Only won 1, unfortunately, but ended up with 2,500 wins. Of course, is the all-time record holder of ejections from games, and just an absolute beloved skipper in Braves history. Probably, I wouldn't even say probably, the most popular, the most successful manager in the Braves franchise history. And just was really, really thrilled to find his one and only player card to add to my PC, and just thought it nice to reflect on his career a little bit. Because Bobby wasn't able to win as much in October, I think that's hurt his legacy a little bit in the eyes of non-Braves people, because he actually had a losing record in October. Braves, under his leadership, went 67 and 69 in playoff games, and are often criticized that they made so many appearances but yet only one World Series championship. So you can't argue with that. But I tell you what, I think anybody would pick to be in the dance, even if you don't necessarily take home the prize. There is something to be said for being there, and there was nobody better at getting the most out of his players than Bobby Cox. So, guys, I appreciate y'all having a little history lesson with me tonight of this great manager, all-time great manager. Of course, inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, and was able to go in with Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux, 2 of his 3 aces that helped him win a lot of those division championships and World Series title. And just a great human being, great manager, players manager. And anyway, I was just thrilled to grab this card and add it to my collection. So, guys, I appreciate you watching this. And we'll look forward to seeing you again real soon. Everybody take care.